No, he's not here today.
Oh dang.
He's not. He died.
No, bro.
Yeah.
No, bro.
He's
Wait, are we
dead.
live?
We're live.
Yeah, we're live.
Hello, guys. Hello. Welcome to Dojocast, episode 24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
24.
We had it shocked us that the stream started because we had a system that we just installed today where the W's in the chat were actually what would start the stream. That's why we were a little bit late, and I had to remind everyone that W's in the chat to start. And you guys just triggered it in the middle of our conversation. So that was rude, but I'll let it slide, and that's okay.
Yeah. Oh, now we're getting W's. I see.
That is some strange technology there.
It's strange tech, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, welcome everyone. I hope you guys are all doing well. Christmas is just around the corner, you guys. Amazing.
It is. Just a week
away.
Sorry.
Yeah, I just came out of the hospital because of last week. Got viciously attacked by a Roblox character. I don't know who that was, but good lord.
Yeah, my bad. That was my avatar, and I we were in Roblox, and I typically keep him, under wraps and in his cage.
Yeah,
just kind of.
He ate 90% of my body. Like, I'm not a chicken anymore. Like, I'm being rebuilt from the.
I was gonna say you have limbs. Something they did good work.
They have the technology, so I'm gonna be a stick figure again, soon.
Today's guest is Egor.
Hi, Egor.
Oh yeah,
Hi, Egor.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Joined us in this anechoic chamber.
Yeah, you know what? It's super quiet in here.
Yeah, they say if you spend enough time without talking in here, you can start to hear your muscles like pulse. You can start to hear everything in your body.
Gotta record that.
That's so weird.
And I'm pretty sure that's been totally disproven, but
Oh, okay.
We'll prove it today.
Yeah, we'll prove it today. Except we're gonna be talking the whole time. So
yeah, it's very fitting because Egor is one of our main sound gurus, sound effects master extraordinaire. We get to listen to his story on both animation, but also his path into sound design and sound effects in the animation world.
That's super exciting. So is this your living room?
Yeah, it is. It kind of feels crazy a little bit if you think about it.
Well, I mean,
it's like an asylum.
I'm
not
gonna
cozy.
lie.
It's cozy.
I wish my room was like this.
I like the metal grated floor. I feel like that is a great way to combat dust. You're just like, the floor is not a solid entity. It just passes through. I like that.
There,
yeah.
I feel like I'm in a dog kennel. I just can go number one and then not worry about it.
I don't know why my floor is metal though. Yeah,
just waffle stop it. You just waffle stop it.
You guys want to hear a creepy story?
I do.
Sure. What happened?
Yeah. So I actually got two. We originally planned on one, but they're both short and to the point. But it started, I believe it was like Monday no, it's actually Wednesday when we had our first meeting for this episode. And I was just going outside my front door, and I see this pink note that was taped to my my stairs and by my front door.
Okay.
And it said, "Oh God, what did it say?" Oh, I should have had this ready. Oh, I'm a professional.
Wait, you took a picture of it?
I saw this. I saw this on.
I took a
Twitter,
video.
Yeah.
You took a video. Hang on, I think I have it on Discord.
Oh, I found it.
I saw it in Alan's Discord server that you posted.
Oh yeah, that's where it was.
Yeah, it was a video.
I don't know where that is.
I've got the quote. It says, "I've been waiting outside for you, Austin. I'm freezing," and then it starts to say something else, and it's ripped up.
Yeah, and it got ripped up. It was taped to my the stairs on my front porch. And I don't know what happened, but I kind of shook it off pretty quickly.
I don't think you're Austin though, right? You're not.
No, my name is Brandon.
Right.
Oh, what the heck?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I don't know. What
I wonder how
there.
long this person waited.
I don't know, but and I'm interested to see what the other half of that note would have said, but
I know.
well.
That's the important part.
That's
Yeah.
kind of weird.
And I have a Ring camera on my front porch as well, and like I didn't get any motion from that at all. It just appeared.
Oh my god.
Interesting. So,
But
it
I
goes
honestly, I think
through.
that one's pretty. I don't think it's creepy enough. So I was like 50-50 on whether or not I would say it. And then something else happened. I believe this was yesterday. No, it was 2 days ago. Yeah, it was 2 days ago.
Okay.
I was at King Supers. Do you guys know what King Supers is?
No, what is that?
Okay. King Supers is like, it's quote unquote a countrywide grocery store in the USA, but the only two states it's in is Wyoming and Colorado.
Okay.
Okay.
So, but I was going there. They built a new one recently, semi close to where I am, and you know I've been going there every now and then. It's a little more pricey than Walmart, but like they got good stuff. But I walk in, I grab my cart, and then there's this guy who's like holding this girl really close, like this kid, this like teenager, really close to him in a creepy way. And he comes up to me, he's like, "Hey, can you take my daughter home for me?" And I was like,
What?
"No, I'm busy. I actually gotta hurry." Just completely lying to him because I'd be kidnapping her essentially.
Yeah. What?
And then after that, I start to walk away because he was standing like uncomfortably close to me when he asked me to take his daughter. And so I start walking away, but like he clearly wasn't done with the conversation. But I was like, if I just walk away, hopefully he'll just stop talking to me. And then he started following me. Like he kept his distance and he tried to make it subtle, but he followed me through the whole store. And I had to like maneuver around aisles to make sure that I didn't, you know, to make sure that I had lost him. I eventually lost him and then I ran to self-checkout and got the fuck out of there.
Let's go.
But like I was worried,
Mechanic.
like, but like I was thinking, like I should have told someone though, because I didn't tell anyone. I was too freaked out.
That is super weird.
Yeah.
That was super weird because like I don't even know if that was his daughter, and like maybe he was following me to wait until I like left the store where there were fewer people around. And then stab me, worst case scenario. I don't know. There was a lot of stuff going through my mind.
Dude.
But that was so creepy.
That is
Dude,
super
that's
creepy.
creepy.
So infinitely creepier than the pink note.
Never go to King Supers.
That like King Supers is good. It's just that one dude was real weird.
It's a
That's
great
so
store.
weird.
Don't get me wrong. Here's the thing, though. There's gonna be this guy. Okay, he lives there, I think. Question mark. And he's going to follow you around and do this.
If he does that
His
shit
vision
again,
is
I'm
based
gonna...
off vision, so you can't outrun him. He can see you.
You gotta be careful out
He's
there,
an
you guys,
SCP.
all right? Yeah, just be careful, man. There's a lot of weird people out there, you know.
There are.
Some more desperate than others, and you never know what their intentions are. So, you know, just keep your wits about you, you know.
Anyway, Dojocast.
Great advice. Great advice from the quadriplegic with the
Hey,
He's speaking from experience.
this thing
knows
can go
more than
pretty
all of us.
fast, all right? Like, this thing has 5 gears.
5 gears.
Exactly.
Oh wow.
1 mile per hour, 2 mile per hour, 3 and 4.
What's
Announcements.
What's
Announcements.
So yeah, today, if you guys haven't seen it yet, the new Gildaguy / Rabonculus team released a new animation, Violet versus Dummy.
Ooh.
Very, very
I haven't
nice.
watched this yet.
Oh man, I watched it just before this stream. Dude, it's so cute. It's so cute. It's like one of the most wholesome and like versus animations that you can watch. So yeah, if you guys want, wait, did I link it? I didn't link it. I
gotta
link
watch
it.
it.
Oh, you better link it.
I'm gonna link it right now. I'm gonna link it. But yeah, it's gonna be in the description if you guys haven't watched it. It's really good. If you're a fan of Gildaguy, it's another great drop from the team. So make sure to watch that. Next, Dojo Christmas Carol. It's due tomorrow night, you guys, okay? There's only one day left. So if you haven't joined the Christmas Carol, make sure to turn in your parts, okay? And also, we're looking for fan art and any fan art or any animations that you have that's like Christmas themed. You can turn that in as well, and then I'll compile everything out. It's kind of like a quick, just a quick compile, just to throw something out for Christmas for you guys.
Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas. It's the most.
Hey, don't play that. Don't.
Wait, sorry.
You pause that video. Pause that. But yeah, yeah. Wait, they can't hear that, right?
Oh, they can hear it.
Oh, they can hear it.
Oh,
That was
I don't know.
beautiful.
I mean, they'll find it
good.
eventually.
Yeah, it's in the link. Wait, did I link this? Pretty sure. I did link it. Okay.
We're
Yeah,
professionals.
Yeah.
In the description link, you guys join the Christmas carols due tomorrow. Okay. All right, that's the announcements.
I actually have an announcement too. Can I?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go
for
Yeah,
it.
you go.
So I announce that people in the chat are awesome. That's
Hey, I
all.
like that.
Hey, there it is.
I
I
like
disagree, but you know what? We'll agree to disagree.
I like that.
All right. Well,
Shall we get
that's
started?
it. Yeah, I guess we can get started on Egor.
Mr. Egor, welcome.
Mister, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you for inviting me here.
Yegor.
Egor.
Yegor.
All the time. All the time.
We have to start off with our intro into yourself. So you can tell us a little about yourself, and then when and how did you get started into animation?
So, how I started in animation, that's a interesting story. Back in 2012, I was sitting, watching YouTube and everything, and I found this like animation, like Counter-Strike, like DDoS 2, right?
Oh, classic.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's
classic.
one of the that classic animation. And since I always been a fan of Counter-Strike games,
Yeah.
and that's what I mostly played back in the day. I was watching it, they're just like all fun, and then once I finished it, I saw the video in recommendation says one versus many animation. I was like, what is that?
Man.
Yeah, it had an interesting preview there, and I'm just like kind of got invested into the preview. Just like, okay, I gotta click there to see what it is. So I clicked that video, and that animation just blew my mind. I was like, oh my god, I've never been interested in anything else, and I was like, I want to do this. I really, really want to do this. I want to make things like this, because even at the time, I did not even have like the understanding what animation is in general.
Yeah.
Even like all those shows, the anime and everything, like cartoons. I thought it was like some sort of, I don't know, sorcery, right? I did not even like think like, how is this even possible?
Mhm.
So that animation opened my eyes in terms of like what it is, what it's like to animate, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so what I did next, I was like, okay, I really want to do this. I guess I gotta like check out this channel, like Hyun's channel. So I check his channel to see like, oh, there are tutorial videos. Like, oh my god,
They're so big.
I feel like $1 million right now. It's just like I'm gonna learn. So I click on this first video, like tutorial video, how to draw a stick figure. And I started getting PTSDs because what I saw was Flash 8, and I will never forget that. So you know what? And the reason why I got PTSD, just going back a little bit, 2007, when I was in school and all that, we had like computer classes where we would learn about computers, how to type, how to use Word, Excels, and like other programs, right?
Mhm.
And one of the lessons we had, it was just like a limited lessons. I think it was just 3 days lessons or something. We had we had lessons about animation. And even at that time, I didn't understand what it was. It was like making images move. So we So we learned that program a little bit, and I struggled with like learning it. And we had an assignment to make a small animation. You know, just like there is a bomb and there is like a fuse and like we need
I
to
was like,
make
pass the
it-
bomb.
Yeah. It's just like tween all
Yeah,
that
tweens,
thing, you know,
yeah.
into the bomb and it explodes. So I failed doing that. Like fully. I didn't even start because like I did not know what to what to press, what to click, how to draw even. We had a little like, you know, just like tutorial videos, but I don't know, I still could not get it. And then I see like, you know, my friend is my classmate is sitting next to me.
Mhm.
And I saw that he actually like animated it. I was like, dude, can you help me, please? Can you like explain it to me? And he's like, and he goes, no. I was like, okay.
What?
Dude,
Why
base.
not?
Base.
He refused to help me, and I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm not gonna do anything. So I told my teacher, you know what? I'm not gonna animate this. And she goes like, well, then you're gonna get F for this lesson. I was like, I'm still not gonna do it. I do not know. I'm struggling. I don't want to do that.
Dang.
So yeah, after that, I just legit hated the program.
So you never
and
really
then-
liked animation when you first was introduced to it. Then.
Well, I guess I did not like it because of the Flash 8, and I couldn't understand how it worked.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Flash 8 is like it's hard to get into. I mean, I remember struggling when I first got my hands on Flash 8. Like you press one wrong button and you don't know what the hell you've done,
Yep.
and like you don't know how to get out of it. Yeah,
Mhm.
so it is pretty scary when you're first opening that program.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
my first time opening Flash 8. I just started creating more and more layers.
Yeah,
Being amazed
me
by how
too.
many layers there could be, and then I closed the file and never opened it for another like
3,000,
5 months.
3,002.
It's like, whoa, this is so many layers. Anyway, I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna go back to Flipnote.
Yeah,
It took me 8 hours to figure out how to get to the second frame. My first time using Flash.
Yeah,
And I
you
also
got
didn't
the
know.
new
I also didn't know
keyframe.
that it had a second frame. I just thought that I was gonna draw a really cool first frame, and then just something happens, and I figure it out from there. Somehow
That's
it's gonna move.
the animate for me button.
yeah.
Yep. I figured out
classic.
something, and yep, I hit a F7 on accident, I think, and then I was like, oh no! I spent so long. Where'd it go?
Yeah, so Egor, yeah, so like you see Flash 8 again through the tutorials, and then you get the PTSD because you have seen Flash before.
Yeah, I have seen Flash before, but then, you know, your videos like just changed my mind. Like this program is like, you know what? Even though I hate it, I need to learn this. You know, I was just like super excited to learn this, and actually, that was a very good tutorial video on how to draw a stick figure because at the time I didn't even like understand how. You know, so dude, I'm telling you, even like your old tutorials, because that's what you mentioned in the last podcast, they're still
Yes.
good, even though you said they're not good.
Stop.
they're
Yeah, they
still
are.
good. No,
They are.
They are still good. They're still
I
good. You
still
cannot-
recommend them to new animators when I
Don't
Exactly.
you dare do not.
I do.
No.
They're good.
Dude, you're gonna force me to make a new one. You know what?
Do
I have
it.
to make a new one.
Do
I have
it.
to make a new one now. Dude, there's no way.
So,
Don't make
yeah,
don't make
and-
me make new stuff.
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah. So and then of course like I downloaded Flash 8. I started like learning it, watching through more tutorials, and it's funny thing when I got to the tutorial on how to animate blood, right? So you know, since I did not know, like I was clueless about like like overall like animation, like how the program works and everything. So I saw how Hyun was like animating blood, right? And there was this option, you know, like use pressure sensitivity thing, right? Just like under the brush. So, and I was like, okay, I don't have this option in my Flash for some reason. So I just like went into the comments, or it was maybe mentioned in your tutorial, I don't really remember, but it was mentioned that you need to have a tablet. So I was like, you know, like, okay, let's go get a tablet. The first thing I did, like right after, I went to Google and wrote, download tablet for Flash 8.
Tablet, bro.
So, you know,
Download. How do I get more RAM?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, so here's the thing though. I did not understand at the time that it was the drawing tablet, right? I didn't
Yeah.
even think
Right.
that thing existed. I actually thought it was some sort of like, you know, like an extension for
app,
Flash
yeah.
8, you know? Yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like kind of gives you this option, you know? Just like I didn't even like understand that you could not do it with like drawing with mouse at the time, right?
Yeah.
So only after I was like when I clicked bunch of links and I saw like, oh, so that's the thing that I need to buy, you know? And I thought it was some sort of extension. So that was funny.
That's
And yeah, after that I was just like, yeah, I started trying the first try was the first combo tutorial video that you had. Like there was something about like punch, double kick, and then push, right? So I
Oh
think that
no,
was in the
that
tutorial.
double-handed punch, dude. Oh,
Yeah,
I remember.
yeah. So that's the first thing that I actually animated, but I'm not gonna lie, I kind of traced it in the sense that I was watching your video, pause it like every frame, like draw it.
Oh,
on
yeah.
my Flash.
Nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that. Nothing wrong.
Yeah, just to learn, just to understand how this works. And you know, funny thing is, you definitely don't remember this, but I do. You had the Facebook page, you know, like attached to your like description in the video,
I
and
did.
it was like and it was whether your personal Facebook or like was it like your fan Facebook or whatnot. So I copied that animation. I posted a link on your Facebook because that's what people been like doing. That, you know, just been posting artworks and like the animations,
Yeah.
like on your Facebook page. So I posted it, and then you know you have no idea how happy I was when you noticed me. You know, you said something like, "Oh, I see what you did here." You know, just kind of like
No
tried to
way.
learn the animation. You know, just like doing that. Yeah, good job, man. Good job. Keep on doing that. Dude, that just like
Oh,
boosted my
man.
motivation like up to the mountain, you know. So I was just like, yeah, and pretty much from there I just continued animating, you know, just
Damn.
learning and learning.
On
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook. Yeah.
What the
That's
heck?
wild.
I haven't been on Facebook in like over 15 years.
I don't think anyone has.
I mean, I'm getting older now, so I have to go back naturally. Right?
Yeah,
I hear my
it'll get
calling.
you. Yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy though. So like, so you mentioned the tablet thing. Did you ever end up getting a tablet?
Yeah. I think I got a tablet probably like 5 or 6 months after.
Let's
Yeah, it
go,
was like at the
dude.
time it was just like yeah, at first of course I just tried with mouse. I was actually getting used to like animating with mouse. You know, like I've had months and months practice, but then like, okay, I gotta buy this thing, you know, kind of wanna see what it will lead me to, you know. I wanna that option, use the pressure sensitivity thing, you know, just wanna draw some effects and everything. Yeah, and the first experience with tablet naturally was like uncomfortable, you know. I didn't really think you don't need to look at it, you know, just since I had the tablet that
Right.
just like a simple Wacom tablet, right? It's not a screen or anything, so I had to look at my monitor and just like draw. It was like, yeah, it was uncomfortable, but of course we got
Dude,
like
back
couple
then,
things to-
I remember like having a tablet as a like back then was like buying a car for
Yeah.
us in a
Oh,
group.
100%.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because like it wasn't common for like there was like no like good tablet brands out there besides Wacom, and they were super expensive.
You
Still
had to
for
buy it
back then.
overseas, too.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
like we'd just be sitting in a group, and then like one of us would like one of us would be there and be like, "Yo, I just got a tablet, bro." Then we're just like,
And it was
"Yo, let me
huge.
see that."
Yeah, it's huge.
And then like they're showing it off by like using the brush sensitivity and flash, and like we were freaking amazed by that. It was so cool. And
Wasn't
then we all
your
had to get one.
wasn't your like the first tablet that was like Wacom Intuos Pro or something?
I don't even know. I think I got a hand me down from like my mom who did like textile designs a long time ago.
Oh,
And,
wow.
yeah, it was like the happiest day of my life. It was so cool.
Mm.
It's wholesome.
But yeah.
So after you got kind of into animating a little bit,
Mhm.
did you immediately join a community? And if so, what communities were you part of and some notable moments while you were there?
Oh yeah, so okay. So after obviously like the early times when it's like started animating, of course I found a bunch of other people like the animators, like Endo, Stone, like Turquoise and Jom
Mhm.
and everything. So and then they all been advertising this one website called Fluidanims, right?
Yes, sir.
So I was like, oh damn, so it's a some sort of like a community. I gotta check it out. And yeah, I went like in the forums on like the main page and like saw like the portal, just like
Yeah, the
fun cool
portal, dude.
animations and everything. And I only had like around whether it was like 2 weeks or a month before it closed. I only experienced
Oh,
it.
really?
Yeah, I only
Oh.
experienced like a little bit of it, because it
Got it.
closed. It was just like, oh, and that was unfortunate. And yeah, I did read that they were just merging with Stick Page, so sort of still. And I was not really much into Stick Page after, so
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I was not. I mean, I visited a couple of times, but sorry, man, something did not click in me. I don't know.
Oh no, I get it, dude. Trust.
Obviously, bro.
I'm sorry, man.
Oh, that sucks. But that's cool that you
Yeah.
did see it though, because a lot of
Yeah,
people didn't even get a chance to see it at all. So I guess and before we went, that was the best iteration possible of the website in my mind, because it was like it was the most clean design wise. It had the most functions design wise, and I think that was probably like the peak of the majority of like the bigger animators at the time that you could have potentially have seen. So
Yeah.
at least
Peak
you saw it on a
activity.
good note.
yeah. And after I think like years later, maybe like 2-3 years, maybe like it was like 2014 or 15 when Hyun opened Hyunsdojo, and yeah, he did advertise it. It was like it's gonna be similar to Fluidanims, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be good. It's like
Yeah.
seeing the trailers that he showcased his website in there, and I was just, oh my gosh, it's gonna be exciting. Yeah, and from there I joined, and the website was really, really great. I was visiting it every single day. Just like finding new like animators, like chatting forums. And there was like I remember there was a chat in there. When you add like
Oh,
friends.
yeah, there was.
Yeah, there was chat in there, and you could like see who's in line. You could just like chat with people and everything. It was a very nice feature there. I'm not sure if Facebook, Facebook, sorry, Fluidanims had the thing where you could see who is streaming, right? It's like,
Oh, no,
yeah,
that was newer.
yeah, that thing was amazing. I found a lot of good animators. I found Shuriken, by the way, like this,
Hey,
Um,
my boy.
and he's like my Ukrainian buddy, and he's really great.
Yeah.
So, and that's how I found him, and yeah, just because of that feature, maybe I wouldn't. I mean, probably I would meet him, but yeah, glad I met him way earlier because of seeing that it was streaming imitator collab. thing.
Oh,
Or,
yeah. Oh, that would have been so cool back
Nice.
then.
Yeah. So Hyunsdojo definitely was the great community for me. Still
Very
is.
nice, very nice. So I guess the next question would be like, when did your obsession with animation kind of transition into sound effects? Because that's what you're kind of known for now.
Hmm.
So like, what kind of sparked your interest in doing sound effects, particularly?
Okay, so but also like all connected to the stick figure animation. So yeah, since I got better into like the stick figure animation, of course, like we started like putting sound effects, and just a lot of people, like a lot of animators, also like basically they used like we all use the same sound pack, right?
Yep.
So and I was like, okay, you know what? I want my animations to like feel different. I wanna use different sound effects. I don't want to use the same thing that like other animators been using. So yeah, I started like digging into more sounds like on the internet. Like trying to get them from other different like sources and everything. So and I've been just first it was like I want my animations like sound different, but then later I started like getting more interested in it. I was just like, okay, how this works, because I want this particular, like for example, punch right in my animation, but I don't have that sound, and I'm just like curious how to make this, and I started like dropping everything in Audacity, just like trying just to create something. I was like, yeah, and that sparked my interest pretty much. It was because I want my animations to sound different. So, and after that, I like started learning. I was just like actually getting like that passion, and
And,
yeah,
and
it's.
was it still kind of like during your time in Hyunsdojo? Like
Yeah, it was it was like in the time of 2016 or 17, I
yeah.
believe. So yeah, it was just like I was a little bit like just damn. Everyone is using the same packs nowadays. It's just like wait,
Yeah.
I want my animation to stand out a little bit, at least in terms of like the sound design, and not
it.
just like the style.
Yeah, cause back then, I mean, like way back then, it was people kind of paid less attention to doing sound effects, and like what caught my attention with sounds was, I guess, with like, I think it was like the Shock series, just like the sound implementation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like with the music and like the really crisp, like super nicely timed sound effects. I think it just like hits different, you know what I'm saying? When you're just watching a stick figure animation and you just hear just beefy, gory sound
I mean,
effects.
it changes the mood of the animation entirely.
For
You
sure.
you must have been on the very like leading edge of that kind of sound revolution though, because prior to you even thinking about this and going through the journey of putting together and creating your own sounds, there was, to my knowledge, no one really doing that. You talk about we all use the same sound pack, and that's true, but I don't know that anybody was making their own sounds on a regular basis. And I think you fast forward to today, and it's like a
that's a
common
huge
thing.
focus.
Like I think you were part of that beginning process of like really making novel, clean sounds for animations.
Probably, but I think I want to mention something. I still, maybe like more people do that, but I still like mostly see the animations like nowadays animations all still like using like those the same packs over and over. But I think like more people now getting more into the editing, especially
Yes.
especially like Jin and Mateo sounds okay. Like those two, they got like the same passion for sound effects that I had like when I was like in 2016 or 17 somewhere. And I'm glad that people the animators like starting to do that like more and more, because like every time when Jin or Matt, they just like mentioned, hey man, we got a new sound effects person who's like very invested into it. Like, yeah, let's go, bring them all in. It's we gotta stop animating, just do sound effects. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
It is.
Yeah. We'll cover a lot more about sounds, but I do want to kind of rewind back to your time in Hyunsdojo, because I wanted to talk about like your style, okay? Because that was a big topic
Oh yeah.
back
I
then.
remember that.
Okay, so I guess when it comes like when you're learning stick figure animation and stuff, a lot of people said, brought up issues about your style because it looked very similar, right, to my style. And, and I guess you did kind of suffer with that kind of reputation, I'd say. So like, I guess when it comes to your style with stick figure animations, what did you kind of struggle with when it comes to that?
Okay, so let's start with how I got there.
Yes,
Because like the funny thing is like when when I first, as I said, like as I mentioned earlier, when I first found your channel, right? Yeah, your animation like looked like incredible, and I really loved like the way you showed fightings in your animation. Even like back then, like seeing John's animations, like Endo's, like even Turquoise's animation, they were definitely great. But even at the time, I feel like they didn't really show the choreography the way you did. You know, like for the like how I saw it. And actually, I've been watching some of the old animations like lately. I think like Turquoise's animations, and like other people. It was their choreography was mostly just like not like I wouldn't call like random, but you know, it feels like just they would go with the flow, right? Like whatever works, right? Yours felt like it was very planned out. I don't know, just like, and it looked very natural, and then, like I really love that natural aspect in it, you know, like because sometimes like in people's like animation just look mostly like exaggerated. You do like a lot of combos in the air, you know, just like with the spins. It was like, yeah, okay, but when you do it, it's actually like more made sense. And your like the posing that you chose, they're like very stylish, you know. It was just like wow, that was so good. So and but still at the time when I started like animating, like following your tutorials, I did not really have the idea of that I wanna have this style. So what actually got me to learn your style is when you released the stick figures spotlight 2, like the League of Legends spotlight 2. Spotlight
okay.
2. Right, it was like a second spotlight, and it was like about League of Legends, and I was like, oh my god, I know my goal now. Listen, I want to make the same animation about Dota 2 for fans, right? Like for people, because I looked up, there was no any Dota animations like this, right?
Yeah.
And I just like I want to make like Dota animation like for people, you know, just like in the same style. So I was just like, I started to study your style very hard. You know, I started to go to like the websites such as, I remember you had DeviantArt, right? You would upload, you would upload animations on DeviantArt. And you know what I did? I would download the source as WF files. Listen, it's time to cringe, right? So I would download all those like SWF files, you know, like the source animation. I would crack them in the program. So they would convert it from SWF to FLA. I would open it, you know, dude, I would open them in my Flash 8 and I would just study it like frame by frame. I would study everything. I would study the way you double frame, the way you you know, like you make like you would make poses. You just like what kind of things you do, like when the stick figure jumps, how the stick figure lands, how he runs, you know, like everything. I was very obsessed with like studying your style just like for this purposes, right? Just to make the Dota animation, you know. So I was very dedicated, and it was like, okay, it started right after you released the Spotlight animation, and I told myself, I'm not gonna make Dota 2 animation until I'm good enough, until it actually resembles like your style, right? And like, so I've been on a grind for years. I've been on a grind like probably since 2013 to 2015, just studying your style. Yeah, it was painful, you know, just like, damn, I can't get this right, you know, and it was just like, it was
crazy.
hard, but then still, dedication was hard on me. And at the same time, it's funny, I didn't even play Dota 2, you know?
Really?
Yeah, I started playing that game. Just for the purposes. I remember my cousin did play Dota 2. So when I had this idea, I think like a week later, I went to him and I told him, dude, teach me how to play Dota 2. And I was like, and he was kind of like happy about it. I was like, God damn, I thought you would be never interested like in this game at all. So yeah,
no, I'm not. This is market research. This is science.
Yeah, so he invited me to Dota 2 because like at that time there was only the early launch in Dota 2, so he just like threw me an invite, and I like starting to learn it, and yeah, and then I've been on two grinds, learning animation and how it works. I mean, learning the game and how it works, and then like studying your style.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then I I think it was 2015 when I got like more resemblance in the style, and I just like started slowly working on Dota animation. Obviously, obviously it's still like, even though I did sort of understood how his style worked, um, the animation were still kind of felt stiff, but I still thought it was like, okay, you know what, it's still good good beginning point where I can like actually start working on animation. And yeah, pretty much like after this, like when people saw the animation, and they were just like, "Oh man, there's definitely, it looks like Hyun's animation." You even commented in there. I think it was like your comment somewhere in there. Just
Oh,
like said
really?
you are proud of me, man.
I'm so
Oh
proud
yeah,
of you.
there
I
you go.
was. Wait, what does it say? What does it say?
It says, "I'm so proud of you."
And just
Let's
like you're so proud
go.
of me, yeah.
I
And I was
was.
like,
No,
damn,
thank
I
you.
felt so
Oh,
good.
well, this is when Google Plus was integrated, so it's all Plus people.
Oh
Yeah,
my god.
yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, and I was so happy. But thing is, dude, I did not make that animation just to like have any sort of like fame or popularity or anything. I just legit wanted to make it like for Dota fans, because I saw how well your animation of League of Legends did. I was like, yo, I want to give that like to Dota people for some reason. So yeah, and after that, I never made any other like Dota animation. I think it's just for the collab, but I
Yeah.
did plan, but nah, I just stopped. And after that, yeah, I kind of stuck with your style, and of course, I've been getting some of the critique, but mostly people just been like kind of just like, oh man, dude, you kind of like uh, good at, you learn the Hyun style, and it's not the easy thing to do, like especially like learning Hyun style at the time. That's just people been saying. And yeah, some people have been just like kind of saying like, oh, he's tracing the movements and everything, and then, but mostly people were just like in my defense, right? Which
Yeah.
is fun. Although, but then of course, somewhere 2018 or 2019, where just like actually starting to moving away from the style is like um extreme, right? Like Zed at the time when he was still in the community. I
Yeah.
remember he was making like sort of like explanatory videos, and I think like one of the videos that he had was like why you should not care about the style. So or something like this. He brought up me as an example in there, and he did really open my eyes there. It's like, he said something about like, yeah, he's a like good animator, but his style is just like nothing unique, right? He could have been like something else, he could have had like his own flavor into like his animations. And yeah, and he was right. He was actually right, and that actually sort of impacted my like thinking. Like, yeah, I gotta, it could have been, maybe it could have been like kind of more unique or something. So yeah, and that's how I started to move away from it. Mostly just to choose different like poses, the way stick figure like behaves, right, and everything. I think the only, yeah, and just make like more smoother animation, because like the I like the smoother animations always would catch my eye like more, just like, oh, that's smooth and like so good, just kind of pleasant looking. So yeah, I started to like make my animations more smoother, and yeah. But I guess the only thing that left from the style is just mostly like the stick figure structure, like using the same like kind of like brush size and everything. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Like the
that's the
fat
only thing
stick
that left.
figures.
Yeah,
Fluid
yeah,
movements.
yeah.
But yeah,
Pretty much.
I can see the why you thought that, because I think it's one thing to like study someone's style and stuff, but I can also see how it could feel kind of bad if if that's kind of like the only thing that you're known for, you know, like people don't really see you as Egor. They just see you as like a clone of someone else or something like that. Because I know,
Yeah.
like Hatena had the same issue, right? Like with Shuriken, and the collabs and stuff.
Yeah, there was a period where I downloaded one of Shuri's animations and actually just traced it. I didn't post it, but I traced it for like learning purposes, and it helped me understand a lot about movement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course, learning Hyun style did teach me a lot of things, and but I also saw like, yeah, it's not really like a good way. You do learn like certain things, maybe like certain poses, how like certain things work, right?
Mhm.
But at the same time, like in the long run, it's better just to give your own flavor into it, right? So
Yeah, and
yeah. And I guess my own flavor into the animations these days was mostly smoother animation and like choosing like different kind of like poses and such, and the sound design, you know, like the sound work. So that's kind of like makes it a little bit like different from what you had.
Yeah, I think your latest style is so smooth. It's crazy.
Oh
Like
my
I wouldn't even be able to do that. But is it all single frame style?
It's not all single frames, but mostly single frames. Probably like 85% single frames and everything. So yeah, I wanted to learn how to not make it like too smooth. So like, you know, the if I would do like some action, right, and like some action needs to look powerful, I
this one.
I wouldn't really want to just make it too smooth, so the hits would look like weak, right?
Yeah, true.
So like a lot of build up in the hit. I wanted to try and learn how to make it look smooth yet powerful. So yeah, and I've been just like kind of like trying to figure this out, and yeah, I guess I got there, but yeah,
it's a lot of work though. I remember when you were working
is.
on this, and I was watching you do like 3 separate trail effects.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy, but like, it's so satisfying though. But that's a lot of work.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So this animation in particular, I think it was like for the collab, the Bladed Guy collab or something.
Yeah.
I think I was given, we were given like what, a month or so deadline.
Oh wow.
So this ended up, okay, so since I'm a very slow animator, you know, I Control Z a lot and everything, just like go back and forth just to check the movements. I do like so many the redos, and it took me probably a month and a half to finish all this, like this whole thing. But yeah, I was very dedicated to like finish this because I had such a good idea in my mind. I was just like almost, you know, working on it in, you know, just without taking any breaks or whatnot. Just like, you know, since I sometimes like, okay, I'll work on this a little bit and just like drop it for maybe a week or so and then continue. But no, I was just working on it almost like every day. So
that's the thing about stick figure animations. I mean, like it is. I feel like people kind of underestimate how much time that gets put into it, because even though like the characters are very simple, that is kind of replaced by just super smooth animation. The movement, the effects and all that kind of stuff. So it still takes a lot of time to make stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I mean it's easier in some ways, it's hard in some ways, but like so is like, you know, in a way anime could be easier in some ways than stick figures, but more complicated in some ways, well, a lot of ways than stick figures.
Yeah, there's a lot of trade-offs.
In any medium.
Yeah, it's not flat. It's not just a flat, simple. It's easier because stick figure, for sure.
Definitely, what I noticed, at least like one thing, what is harder to show in stick figure animation is some of the poses because of the stick figure colors, right? Sometimes
Yeah.
you get confused, like, you know, if a stick figure is like rotating or like making some interesting move, or like the aerial moves, right? So it's harder to show like a stick figure in certain perspective if you do like in 2D, right?
Mhm.
It feels like, yeah, it just
Magic.
creates a blob, right? You know, just like one big blob if you do like aerial attack or something, and you like create poses, and it's just like, what is it doing sometimes, right?
Oh,
And like,
yeah.
what is the leg position should be? Is this arm or is this leg? Like, where's his head? You know, this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
yeah, it was definitely something like better to show in full body. So, but yeah, like at least like this one thing that I definitely remember, like hard to show in the stick figure. You need to figure out the ways to make it work and so people would understand like what it
Sure.
is.
Sure.
I think what it is it's you have to get a core understanding of silhouettes when you do stick figure
Yeah.
animation, because
Mhm.
most of the time, I mean, there are some people who stylize it and give like lines and gradients, like Nozzle's. One of Nozzle's old styles, he had like gradients on the limbs, but I mean, even then, like you have to focus a lot on making that pose very clear. So you have to focus
Yeah.
very heavily on that silhouette. Otherwise, like you don't have a lot to work with.
Yeah.
A question. During your earlier Hyun phase, and you were breaking down the SWFs into FLAs, I don't know if it would still show like the guides on there, but one thing I remember distinctly that was like so foreign to me when I originally, I don't know what we were working on, but I was working in a file with Hyun, and he did something that I thought only he did, and I'm wondering if you picked up on that. And you mentioned how he maps out his choreography, right? He kind of like maps out what he's gonna do. In the mapping out, did you see what I saw where, let's say there was like 5 or 6 punches or something, right?
Yeah.
He would have a guide layer that was just a static guide, like it would be like a F5'd out for multiple frames. And what it was the motion. It was like in hot green. I remember like a neon green.
Oh yeah.
And it would just be like the motion. It would just be like a line, like a partial arrow. Like think of like if you were to draw a curved upwards arrow for an uppercut, right? And he would draw a bunch of these, like, okay, here's a reverse arrowed one. Here's one that comes from this way and this way and this way. And what it was him mapping out the choreography for each of where the limbs was going to attack ahead of time. So in his mind, he'd be like, okay, I'm going to do da 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 da, and he would kind of just carve out on the stage in one long frame where the punches were going to happen. And then he would then after that, he would go through and keyframe out subtly like where those legs were going to be making impact, and then the body would come in after that. Did you do something similar where you were mapping out with like etches?
Listen, I think I know what you're
Oh, there
talking
they are,
about.
right there. Yeah.
I think. Okay,
Yes,
so
yes,
I think,
exactly, yes.
Listen. I think that's what he was doing here. I don't think he was just like doing it ahead of time, but I think he was marking where the hits would come from for the second stick figure to react. I think that's what it was.
Yes.
Yeah, so you just like animate one stick figure, right? You just like do a bunch of hits, but then there was like there was no another stick figure, right? So to know exactly where he needs to pose his stick figure, he would just like need to, okay, so this is the first like hit is gonna be here, then he would probably, the stick figure should like move back a little bit, yeah, because like other animators, they would just like animate 2 stick figures at once, like for example, one does a hit and then he immediately draws another one to react. So yeah, I still did the same thing as Hyun did, right? I told you, if I'm learning, I'm studying fully, you know.
I totally
I
get
did
it.
the same thing.
I totally get it.
Thing. Yeah,
I still do this. I still do this.
Yep.
This thing.
Hey, if
Yeah,
it works.
because it's just hard. I mean, like for me, I don't know how people don't do this and then still get like really good choreography, because I guess they do it in their head.
Maybe
But,
it has something to do with aphantasia.
I think it is.
Dude, you're right. You're
It's
right.
aphantasia
dude.
versus aphantasia, because we see it.
Oh
we
my
see it in
God.
our map, in
Yeah.
our head. But you are much stronger at referencing. So you're creating your own reference in real time to map it out, and we're just seeing a similar version of that in our head at least.
Oh my,
moving
that
forward.
makes so much sense.
Wait, sorry,
now,
sorry.
dude.
Igor, do you know what aphantasia is?
No.
Okay,
Well,
well
I
then
know
to
the
explain
term.
for you in chat who doesn't know, aphantasia is the inability to picture things in your head. So most people
Oh.
can build a picture in their head. Like I could tell you to put, like, picture a pink elephant on a blue grassy hill with a dark red sky and dark clouds with thunder and lightning, and you could probably picture that perfectly. But there's actually a lot of people who can't, and
I know.
Hyun is one of them.
I actually, no, I don't have like this thing. I can picture it all exactly, but sometimes, I mean, I struggle to, like the lack of knowledge that I had like in choreography, I would not understand how stick figure should react or where he should react, you know. So I still needed like to do those marks, right? I was just like, I didn't take it like in a way that I cannot picture it, but I just like, you know, the lack of knowledge in you know, in the
Yeah.
movement. So
It
I had to
definitely
like
helps.
mark it and then like think as I animate, like how he should react. Maybe like he jump here, maybe he just like duck there and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So yeah, that was just like the marks.
Mhm.
And okay, yeah, quick thing to mention about like transitioning like from Hyun style. The first thing that I did to transition from Hyun style is to start my animation with head. Like, you know, animated head.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
first.
popular then
That's
too.
Head first.
Uh, I'm not sure if you still animate the body Hyun.
He was
Um,
body first. Thought he was a freak.
Yeah, so like right here you can see like I animate with no heads and no arms because I used to focus on
Yeah,
just
the
the
leg
foot
positioning.
movements. Yeah,
It makes
and
sense. It does make
Yeah.
sense though.
It makes
Footing,
sense, but I don't think I do this anymore. I think I do head first when it makes sense, and then sometimes I switch to body. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of move around back and forth now.
Hmm.
Interesting. There's
But I
some
think
ways to do it.
dude, this was also because of my aphantasia thing. Because like, I couldn't focus on like all the limbs and the head at once. I had to focus on like one thing at a time.
And that's super beneficial too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but yeah,
Hey,
that's
we gotta have a whole episode where we just talk about that,
true. Yeah,
because I could go on that for hours, man. Anyway,
my mind is blown right now.
the dots are finally.
We're tying it all together.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we'll move a little bit back into sounds again.
Mhm.
What is the secret behind good sounds? And do you think like does sound effects make or break an animation? And how important are sounds in animation to you?
Okay, so okay, about like sounds breaking animation. Okay, maybe not like entirely. Of course, unless you do it like very like crappy, right? It was just like that.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
much everyone will notice. But I don't think it just really breaks it. But it's pretty like noticeable, right? Like audible, right? Especially for those who focus on the sounds or maybe like always try to break down videos like animations, what kind of sounds to use. Yeah, you definitely can hear that it's like, man, this doesn't fit in here and this could have been like made better. I think maybe like average viewer who just like enjoys watching like shows or even just like animations or whatnot, they may not notice. This is something that I noticed myself in people reacting to One Punch Man Season 2, because I want to say that One Punch Man Season 2 did not really have that great sound design compared to the first one.
Yeah,
Since it's like anime, right? Like animes, for example, they have, for the most part, very unique style, mostly. If we talk about like Dragon Ball Z, right? Dragon Ball Z probably was the first anime that actually had very unique sound.
Yes.
Yeah, you
For
can
anime.
just pick them out. You can pick them
Yeah,
out.
it's very
Yeah.
iconic. You know, even just for the footsteps, you can't
Yeah.
really hear the footsteps
True,
are iconic.
true.
Like, you know, when Cell walks, when Frieza walks, you can hear that like the thud and the squeak, right? Who would have thought to add that to the character, right? It kind of doesn't make sense, but it's so satisfying.
It
The way
is.
they
Right.
fly, the way they like using blasts and everything. So, and that path, like it's a definitely combination of like the synth and like organic sound effects, and yeah, and this was kind of like a starting point for like for animes to have this like direction. If we talk about Naruto also had like a very great sound design. They also kind of like anime type of stuff. Like also used like synth, like very interesting like techniques to represent like certain attacks, like hits and everything. It sounds very unique. But then, and One Punch Man Season 1 also had like this kind of like a thing that a lot of good sounds were used, like very interesting and like unique. But then what I notice nowadays, people just like do it kind of, you know, not like boring, but like less designed. If mentioned in like One Punch Man Season 2, like I was breaking down like a lot, and yeah, as saying like, does it break animation? In my ears and my eyes, it does. But because I focused on sound design and because I noticed these things, right, I was like, oh man, I can. This doesn't fit here, because I remember I saw there was one moment there, I think actually a few moments, where a character attacks with the leg. It's like a powerful hit. And they put just a gunshot to his head. No, and listen, and it doesn't sound like super like crazy design sound. It's just literally like poof. You know, I know like dude. No, it's season 1. It's season 1. It's season 1. There was like a season 2. It was done by a different animation studio as well, and the sound person was also a different one. And I'm like, oh man, it does break an animation in my ears. I do not break the animation for like the just like normal viewers, right? Who just watch, you know. But I do notice these things.
It's like a failed potential, right? Because like the animation is now there and done. The work is now present, and so your mind is racing and thinking like, I know what I'm going to do with this. And so if you see if they fall short of that, it's like, oh, can you just, you're leaving so much more on the table. Like there could be such a better experience with this animation. So it's like fail. It's not breaking it, but like you're saying, like, it's like a failed or missed opportunity that you could make it so much more enriched.
Yeah, at some point I actually wanted to just like, you know, I was a little bit like sick of it, and I was like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna resound one of those like scenes myself, just, you know, and like go it on Twitter somewhere. And I actually want to, maybe at some point I will, you know. So I felt like I could have done like more like a fair job to some of the scenes, because some of them like very lacking, but also some of them were, they sounded like good, not gonna lie. It's just like, but mostly there was a lot of missing things going on. I'm just like, I want to add more.
So what would you think it makes for a good or bad sound design? What do you think? Is there like a condensed version of how you would answer what's good versus bad?
So I would say definitely like craft more, experiment with like different type of things, you know, try to like think of, at least like for animation, like especially anime is mostly it's exaggerated, right? And so I think like the movements and like the sound should also be like exaggerated. We see like, you know, how a character, like for example, flies across the screen, right? Like the in perspective, the close-ups, and perhaps maybe like some effects are following, maybe like wind effects or like smearing effects, right? This makes me want to like, okay, I need to not only push like put a long whoosh, for example, right? Like a wind, but like add maybe like synth type of stuff to it, so it could just like represent a little bit more like a style to it, you know, like a different, putting like different sounds on top of it, right? And just make it as exaggerated as the animation, as what I'm seeing, right? And not just like simply like put like, oh, I'm on he's flying, I'm gonna just put some whoosh and I'm wind, that's it. No, I want to add more. I want to like just try to think a little bit like outside the box, and just maybe drop some of the stuff and think maybe this will work, maybe this will not work, you know. But I definitely would have like idea of it, you know, of what I want.
Should we listen to this? Should we listen to this kind of sample that we have up here? Like, so this one was like a Spider-Man scene that you re-sounded, right?
Yeah. Let's listen to this.
Okay, let me just play this. With revoices done by Cameron, who we had earlier, Best Frog, Oxab, and Lesmod.
Oh, revoiced too?
What have you done with my machine?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
What are you talking about? What machine? Do you want to play games?
I love games.
So this is, all these sounds are kind of applied by yourself, right?
Yeah, I designed most of them and applied most of them as well.
And
I love
this kind of you just did kind of for fun, right? Just
Yeah,
to see if you could do it.
yeah, because compared to animation, movies also has their own like sound style, right?
Yes.
Most of the movies has more of a down to earth type of like sound design. I mean, of course, depends on like what the movie's about. If we talk about like one of the Marvel movies, like even like Spider-Man, you know, you would not have like crazy synth like type of anime style in
Yeah.
their
No
in their
gunshots.
movement.
No gunshots for a punch.
Yeah. If you hear a punch, you need to make like something more like a punchy, right? That actually represents the punch, right? I mean, if it doesn't follow by any other effects or anything, then yeah, you just like do like a normal punch. You cannot make it, I don't know, just like sound
Wacky.
that doesn't sound like that's something that would work in anime. It would not work in the movies, and that is what I've noticed. And just like been training my like listening, like watching the movies and everything. It's like, yeah, so I can definitely hear the distinction, you know, like how anime sounds and like how movie sounds. Stick figures animation also has their like own style, and
Yes.
most what stick figures do have, it started like back in Fluidanims days and the stick page days, like of course like with like the animation like from Hyun, Turquoise, and like others. What's more unique in a stick figure is, especially like in movements, when they're like, you know, turning back, turning like maybe their heads up or just ducking, we would put whooshes to the movement. Yeah, and listen, man, it's maybe funny, but it does give stick figures like the unique aspect to it. Because because even like normal cartoons, like, you know, like cartoons for kids, they do have like some whooshes aspects to it, but it's very like rare if you need to highlight something, right? Like a certain highlight a certain movement, then it works. But for stick figure animations, it feels like nowadays it's like very necessary to put, you know, to put like a whoosh to their movement to like represent like what they're doing. And this guy started with you, and I'm actually glad that you guys chose like this direction. And of course, it now continued with like Alan's animations too. But I don't think like his idea of like putting whooshes was like something like new. I think it was just like picked up basically by the animations that you guys did. But he has his like own
specific sound, like specific whooshes,
like
the Alan
specific
Becker whooshes.
Yeah. So, but the whole idea is just like that's what it works like for all the stick figures. Even like nowadays, I mean, yeah, people still like put like some sort of like a clothing to it, right? But at that time, no one would do that. Just like put whooshes in it, and it was actually great. So you can see how the stick figures has a style, anime has a style, like the movies have a style, you know. So yeah, it's cool, and just like feeling like making like distinction to it is it's pretty fun. So
because for me, because when it comes to sound effects, I got inspired off of like kung fu films like Jackie Chan.
Oh yeah,
and if you look at his sound effects, there is cloth rustling up the wazoo. Like they are rustling up every piece of, like, while they're fighting. There's just cloth whooshing everywhere. Like every single millisecond of that fight, there's like whooshes going on and hits and snaps. It's really satisfying to watch films like that. That's why I got inspired off of Jackie Chan movies. Not so much like the older ones, but like kind of like the more modern ones. So yeah, that's kind of where I got inspired. So I started just putting like cloth rustling whooshes on every single movement on my stick figures, and it pays off, dude. Like it sounds so cool.
Definitely. Did you say like you were inspired by like more modern or the old ones? Because I have like a few things to say if it's a modern ones.
Well, like not so modern as in like
not
today,
so modern,
but like kind of like in the, I'd say like in the 2000s ish. Because I think that was kind of like the golden era. Because you'd have like the old versions of the movie, like Jackie Chan movies, and those have like just like several punches and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
they would resound it to release in
that's what I
America,
was
and
thinking,
dude,
yeah.
those were the good ones, dude. Those were so good.
Yeah, and yeah, I can definitely remember that I watched the I think it was like a Drunken Master, right? I think it was
Yeah,
like the
Drunken
first or
Master.
second- Yeah,
Yeah, perfect
it was.
example.
Yeah, it was sounded differently in like a Chinese version of the movie, and then they resounded like and redubbed it
Yes.
in like America probably. But I think Jackie Chan still was in the role or something. And I think and I remember that specific movie, but it would just like put a lot of bushes to the hits, and like there were like these certain hit sound effects they would put, and this is when you picked up on that. So, and I
Yeah.
could definitely hear like the resemblance a little like in Jackie Chan like movie with like a drunken stick and like in here, for example.
Yeah, I mean, you could just look up like the Jackie Chan, the Drunken Master fight scene.
Oh, fine. Fun.
Because it sounds so good, and I think that's what really inspired me to go heavy into sounds with my own animations too.
Mhm. Speaking of that, animation still looks great. It's very unique. Like, wow, the choreography on that is just too good.
Yeah, like if you look at this, wait, turn it up, Hatena. It
Like
just sounds
that.
like a stick figure animation.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
And you can tell how we got inspired by it.
Come on now. What do you think? Can he do more? Of course he can.
Hey, you're like fools.
Yeah, okay, can we skip the dialogue?
Yeah, skip the dialogue. Yeah, how much dialogue?
Father will kill
In
me.
true stick figure fashion.
Oh, here it is.
I guess that was.
Oh yeah, he gets drunk. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, it just sounds like a stick figure fight. It's insane.
Yeah. Like you can hear that. Yeah. There you go.
But it's just
like
so cool.
many bushes. Yeah. I know what's funny, like, if it was more of a serious movie, I don't think like this kind of sound design would really fit in there. It would just like feels comedic. But
Yeah.
this is what the Jackie Chan's like movies are about. It's comedy, right?
Yeah.
And it really fits, like, the whooshes, how he like spins and everything. Yeah, that's a good combination right there.
So cool.
So I gotta ask then, what are some good resources that people can look into to get started with like basic sound editing, sound design, kind of how you went about your journey?
So, okay, how my journey was at the time. Okay, right now I'm probably is gonna be a little harder because at the time, when we had like Hyunsdojo community, right, we had forums and people would provide a lot of like sound effects in the forums, right? It was like upload them and everything. Yeah, that's where I pretty much like started to get my sounds, and then of course once I decided to go with my own way in sound design, I started to find different ways that I sound, like looking up even like on YouTube, like in the different websites. There are like game sources, like the assets on the websites that you can download. So yeah, and I would get them from there, just like collect. I would not buy packs at the time, but like only later on when I actually started getting like more and more in sound design. But to just like start, I guess you since Hyunsdojo website unfortunately is closed.
Under
I think you
construction.
would- Huh?
Under construction.
Yeah, good.
Fact check.
Under construction. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. If for now, I think people should try. Definitely look up sound effects, like some like in Google, and there's definitely. Oh yeah. So there is a freesound.org as a website where you can download samples. Yeah. I am active like in Axub server, and there's like a sound effects section. I do drop my own design sounds in there, so if people want to, they can just like steal from there.
Write that down. You gotta get
Yeah,
there.
guys, write it down.
Doesn't
You know,
Hatena also has his own sound pack, right, on
I
your
knew you were gonna
website?
say that.
Yeah, bring
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Definitely. If Hatena has like a source, you can like, download it there and like, yeah, definitely like start and for the sources where you can use where you can start applying your sound effects, like dropping it. Definitely you can look up some free the video editor, just like I download an animation, put in a video editor, and put the sounds in there, and just like trying to like slowly apply the sounds to like hits and movements. First, of course, like if you're talking about like stick figures, you might wanna start with just like applying it to like the hit sound effects to hits, the footsteps, and then maybe like later you could like, once you're more familiar with it, you could like see, okay, maybe in here, in this like subtle movement, I can put this in there. But that of course comes with practice, like with understanding how things work. So far, of course, I would start also kind of applying all sound effects only to just like certain hits and movements. I would not do it like to everything or like thinking outside the box. Just like starting out, like have a feel for it, and then train the ear, and then Audacity. If you want to practice with like designing a sound for the new guys, I would not recommend to like at first to start trying to design bunches from scratch. If you're really into sound design, you might wanna get some of the already pre-made design sounds, and try to combine them together, right? Maybe like displace them a little bit, like after another, maybe add a bunch of like other things to it and see how it turns out, right? Like for example, you took a punch sound, like a good punch sound, like combine it with maybe I don't know, with the tail explosion, right? And then you might get like a very good powerful hit, because designing from scratch also like comes with lots of knowledge, and then like trying to find like the different type of plugins, like learning the program, how it works. It's eventually of course you would want to get there, but as a starter is to try it out just with already pre-made sounds, and just combine them together and see what works, what doesn't, so you can understand like
So download resources and just play around is a good way to just get your feet wet.
Yeah, definitely. This is how I started, and like I got more curious in how the things work. And at the time, actually, back in 2016 and 17, when I actually started designing my first sound effects, there were very, very limited tutorials, and not something that I wanted. When I would try to like find on YouTube, for example, like I wanna craft like a punch hit, right? Nothing that I would need. So I had to just like figure this all out on my own, just like trying to screw around and find out, basically, just like drop everything, just like see what works, what doesn't. Even nowadays, there are more like sound tutorials out there, but still some of the things that even nowadays that I do not know how to make, I'm still trying to figure it out on my own by listening to the sound, like training my hearing, just like trying to understand what am I hearing in this. Because, for example, if you look in animation, right, you can see, okay, or the artworks, you can see the colors that I used. Like, for example, this is a red color, this is a blue color, and you can kind of see how they like morph together to make like something new. In sound-wise, it's a little bit difficult because you need to like hear and understand what you're hearing. You don't have the visual representation. You have like only like the audio, and sometimes audio is so like changed that you cannot no longer hear the source of it, the original source of it.
Right.
Like, let's say you can make an electricity sound effect out of the ripping cloth, right? And you change it like applied so many effects to it that you cannot hear the ripping cloth anymore. You can, if you train your hearing like long enough, you could understand like, oh, so in this electricity I can hear like the rips. So possibly it could have been a source of like ripping cloth. Okay, maybe I should just try dropping it and like apply effects to it, and like see what can it be. You know, like add some sort of like a distortion to it, maybe, yeah, and other things. So, yeah, that definitely comes with like the practice of like understanding what you're hearing, right? So,
I want to
yeah,
pull
and
up one of your soundwork videos.
Yeah, let's-
Fox's Scream.
Yeah, yeah.
So in one
So,
of the
yeah.
AV education videos, apparently, let me switch this to the Twitter format. I was like, I'll let you explain it.
Yeah, okay, so let's just like watch this first, and then I explain
Okay.
what I did here.
That's such a cool effect, but
I know, I love that.
how is that possible? What?
Wait, so let me make one guess. Let me make one guess as to how you did this.
Okay.
Pause stretch.
Definitely, yeah. Ball stretch
Yeah.
and a lot of filters, a lot of plugins and filters on it.
Okay.
Okay, so what I did, when we were working on like the physics episode, Phil like made this scene, and then I was like thinking, okay, how should I make the black hole sound effect? You know, because we didn't really hear the black hole sound, but apparently there was the first like discoveries would like possibly sound like, and then like Turquoise gave me like the YouTube video, like, okay, you need to reference this, you know, and what was in the video is basically like a ghost like type of sound effects, like, you know, just like holes or something, like whoa, you know, this kind of thing. So that gave me an idea, and it was like, you know what, I'm not gonna like pull up or just like craft like maybe or pull up like any libraries or whatnot. I'm gonna make it myself. So I took Fox's like, you know, screaming sound, I stretched them, you know, so we just like sound very, very slow, and then I applied so many like filters on it, and it was actually started like represent more like a whirling sound, you know, just like around a black hole. And yeah, and I just like did it for fun, and it worked so well, in my opinion. I was just like, God damn, I'm definitely keeping this in that animation, because like it definitely turned out fun. And then I showed it to Alan, and like others are just like laughing, like, God damn, no way you did that. So yeah, I'm just like, and Fox was laughing as well, and I was just like doing that. Like I was streaming it like in a work server there, and just it was definitely very fun, and I learned a bunch of things from it too. So yeah, that was kind of like ambience
really
there.
cool.
Yeah.
I guess I mean, you mentioned that you do sounds for Alan Becker and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So like what was like the first thing that got you into like the I guess the sound effects jobs fields that you do now? Is it just like, did it just happen kind of naturally, or were you actively kind of searching for those kinds of jobs?
No, actually it happened spontaneously. Of course I was like interested like doing sound works, like collecting a lot of sound effects and everything. And I remember I think it was like 2018, my friend Fox, Simple Fox, he worked for Alan at the time, and since Alan's team was not that big, right, there was no a sound guy for it, and mostly Fox would do sound effects for him, and like also like some other people, but he was mostly like trustworthy the most at the time to apply sound effects to his animations. And he would like constantly like come to me and ask like, "Hey, Igor, you have this sound? You have this sound? I need this. I need this." You know, just like I'm gonna like dropping like the sounds to him, and then like at some point just like ask, "Listen." I remember he did mention that he did not really enjoy applying like sound effects to animations like in general, but I mean, you know, job is the job, and I was like, dude, so maybe Alan needs like a sound guy or something, so
Yes.
maybe I could get in. It was like, oh yes, I'm gonna ask him, you know, just like you're gonna free me from that, you know, from that tedious job because he didn't really like it. Yeah, and Alan did need a sound guy, and it was like, okay, yeah, I have a lot of like sound like files. I definitely can make it work. And yeah, from there he invited me, and my first actual paid sound job was animation animator versus animation, the viruses, I think it's called.
Yeah,
where the
yeah. I think
chosen
I
one-
did
yeah.
a little bit of sound work for that one as well. I
No,
remember.
you did for the showdown. You did
Oh,
for
the showdown. Okay,
yeah,
okay,
the
okay,
Wait, you
okay,
did
okay.
what?
Yeah, so Hyun did the sound for the showdown because at the time we were trying out like doing more complex animation, like you know
Oh yeah, all perspective.
perspective and anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So our like Hatena, you know, like our pipeline was way different at the time. So what's been happening is that like Phil would animate like a good chunk of like animation, maybe like 3, 4, like 5 minutes of animation, right? And then and I would have to wait until he finishes it, and then I would start like doing sound effects for it. And of course, once the all animation is done, the sounds are not done because I've been waiting, you
Yeah.
know? Since now we're like getting like 30, 40 seconds chunks each time like the job is done. We're just like getting for sound work. And of course the process like this like gets way faster. Yeah, but at the time we had to like wait like 4 or 5 minutes are done, and then I still could like get the whole chunk and just like sound design it. And yeah, and I was like short on time, you know, because the animation was like nearly done, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have like lots of minutes to sound. So Phil helped a little bit, like with a certain one scene. Hyun helped like with one scene there. It's like when the viral bots are attacking the cursor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you did that. But sorry, man, I had to resound it instead.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
Oh wait, this bit coming up here?
I don't even remember.
No, I think it's like when the cursor disappears, you know, when they actually destroy it. This one's actually Phil. This was like turquoise. This scene, the turquoise helped me with, because I was short on time.
Okay, let me see. Oh,
I think it's
so
just like a little.
here.
Yeah. But
Yeah, I think
I
it's
love
gonna
that.
be. It's gonna be here. And it's still that bush that I kept like your bush. Here, I remember you
I
put some
recognize
metallic sounds in there. Yeah, so I had to like resound a little bit because you put the metallic sounds, like the blocking like sword hits or something. But I needed one specific, more like a the synthish blade, so I had to like resound some of your stuff, man. Sorry.
all good, bro. All good. I mean, it just shows how important sounds are. I mean, even with this episode, it's just the sounds are so specific and crisp, and it just adds so much to the entire fight scene, in my opinion.
What was the only thing that I was doing wrong at the time, and I was not really understanding? Of course, the understanding came with the more, of course, the more I do it, the more understanding I get in the sound design. I thought, like, for the hits, if I make it louder, that means it's, you know, it's stronger. But it's not the case, you know. It actually, you can make it sound not as loud, but it all depends on all the sounds, how you apply the sounds to the hit, right? It's just like maybe like add some little bit of an explosion to it, maybe like more like a whooshes type kind of thing inside of that sound, and it just creates it, like it makes it bigger, and not just like you like, you know, boosted like 20 dBs in the sound that is like the way just like it sounds distorted. It's like it feels stronger. No, and that was my mistake because you can definitely hear like lots of my sound, like hit sounds in there are distorted, like actually pretty distorted in there.
Yes.
And I was just like, oh my gosh. And in that episode with the viruses, the very first job, I think like last year I had to dig up one of those old files just to get like one specific sound in there, like of a
Oh, really?
tunnel, like a portal. Yeah, a portal sound because it's iconic to one of the Alan's episodes. I looked at my old works and I put like 4 sound effects, like 4 hit sound effects, the same sound effects like in a row, you know, and it just like sounds so loud. And I'm just like, I legit like ask Alan, how did you approve this? I don't understand. Like how? this is not normal, you know. But it was normal me at the time. But now look back at it, just oh my gosh, so bad.
Yeah, I mean we've all learned a lot from. Back
Yeah,
then.
we
I mean,
definitely learned a lot.
I think that's a common issue when it comes to like stick figure animations too. I mean, people just overload with sound effects sometimes, where it's like too much. And like there are times where like I bring in a sound effect from like a different animation, and like you know where you can like see the sound waves, right? But it's just like completely just a block of peaked sound effect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
There's no wave. It's no wave. It's just like a solid block.
Yeah.
Brick peaking the whole time.
That's what my sound work used to feel like. The early sound work, just blocks, man.
Yeah, and then once you get some experience, you kind of figure out like, less is more sometimes, and then you go into like mastering sound effects and all that and balancing everything out.
Yeah,
but yeah, there's a huge skill set involved when it comes to applying. It's not just like, you just slap some sounds together and then call it a day. There's a lot more nuance to it.
Yeah, definitely. Like especially if you're working on like some I mean, I understand like if we like normal stick figure fights, you can technically like slap a bunch of like sounds and call it a day. But if you're working on something like more specific, you know, if you're like working on an actual big project, then you should try to get a little bit more effort into the sound design, because in that way your animation is gonna like look different as well. You know, it's not gonna look. Since a lot of people in the community, they're used to hear the same sounds over and over, it might give them like a fresh feel for it, right? Just like, oh my gosh, this animation sounds way different, you know, and just like it makes it more interesting. And especially if it's applied very well, it is just like, it's like, man, it does give you a different experience to, not only focus on animation, but also focus on the sounds. So,
yeah, for sure. So I guess when it comes to creating sound effects, or like your pipeline for doing sound effects, what do you kind of use now when it comes to like programs, or like what do you use when you are making new sounds or applying new sounds, just for the people who are kind of curious on what the workflow is now?
Well, so I still do use Audacity from time to time, but mostly for more like simpler designs. Let's say if it's just like a normal, like a whoosh, or maybe like a sword hit, or maybe like just hits and everything. It's if there's not a lot, the processing behind it, like not applying a lot of filters on it, or like the plugins. I just use Audacity. Audacity is being it's a free software, and it's been actually updated to the point
it's so
where
good.
It's so good. Nowadays they actually starting to put more focus on it, just adding like VST supports, basically like the plugin supports, that you could actually use the heavy plugins that you could only use in a different DAW. Now you can use it in Audacity. I mean, it still works wonky, but they're definitely working on it. And Audacity is very easy to use compared to other programs that I use.
Much more intuitive. Much more intuitive.
Yeah, and definitely people like who wants to start, they definitely should start with like Audacity and give it a feel. But I also use for more heavy designs. I use more like Reaper and other professional programs, but mostly Reaper. Also very good. Yeah, really good program for sound design, because it has like a lot of good features that help you to manipulate with the sound, and of course a lot of like you can use a lot of plugins in there and like a big plugin chain, so your program would not crash. So yeah, I use that a lot, and yeah, I'm still like learning new things about it, and it's pretty fun. And to add sounds to the project, I use Adobe Premiere. Yeah, it's also like I design a sound like in a program and just like drop it in Premiere. If I need to sync up like a certain sound, I would put it also like in Reaper and then like make one big sound, just like and sync it with the like if I need to make a sound in the process and like looking at the screen like okay, here's rotation, here's not rotation, because sometimes I cannot really make the sound, so it just like feel very synced up with the certain movements. So I would do that in Reaper, then I would just I would render it out, the sound, and just like drop it in Premiere back again. So
Got it. Cool.
yeah,
Okay.
that's the pipeline pretty much.
Well, I've got just a nice little light question before we move into questions from the audience. Do you still have a passion for animation? Like, where are you at now? What are your goals for life now, or do you plan to still specialize in sounds?
Well, yeah, I definitely have, I would say, like less passion for animation, but not to the point where I would just like drop it forever. I definitely still want to make maybe some like animations in future, but it's not gonna be something like very very project based. Even though I do want to make something, but it's just maybe like simple animation there, on maybe there and there, maybe some collab parts in the future. But definitely for now, I am focusing more on sound design, like growing as a sound designer, because I really like the sound design is my passion, and this is something that I want to connect my my life with, and just like make money out of it, and definitely wanna try and get like to work not only on animations, because I mostly like work on animations. I want to try and work maybe in like some movies too.
Yes, sir.
Very fun.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I wanna get there. Definitely gonna do bunch of like resounds and just drop it on Twitter. Maybe like people notice it. I do have plans to resound like recent Deadpool and Wolverine movie, like the moment where they just like fight, and
that'd be so fun.
That'd be sick.
yeah, and I also wanna resound one of the scenes like from Arcane season 2. Like there was a scene Jinx versus Warwick. So, but Arcane has really great sound design. Definitely, it's not something that I want to make like better, but I just want to see how well I would do.
How it
Yeah.
feels, how your
like,
take
I
feels.
want, and yeah, maybe some people in future might notice this and like be curious and like offer me something to do. So,
Dude,
yeah.
I didn't tell you guys this, but speaking of Arcane, since you brought it up, like
Oh, no.
when I was doing when I was making Stickfigure Spotlight, the latest one, was it 6 or something? I think it was 6. I remember bringing the animation like to the Riot Games studio, like where their headquarters are, and their sound booth station is so high tech and advanced. It's insane. Like they have like $1,000 speakers and like programs that I don't even know existed, and they were actually like sitting there, and they invited me in, and they were like mastering the sounds of my animation,
Huh.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
and
Wow,
it's
you got to
crazy.
Wait, you had to physically deliver the video?
I think they invited me, and then we were working on the music because they wanted to add music to that animation, specific stuff like that. Oh yeah, because like one of the Riot people actually worked on the music. I remember now. So like he was like mastering the music with like the sound effects that I added, and he was like telling me all this weird, complicated stuff about mastering sounds. And he actually mastered that animation when it was released. But yeah, it's crazy that the sound people at Riot. I mean, that was years ago. It's probably like so much better now. But yeah, it's no joke, man. Like they really know what they're doing when it comes to sounds.
But was there like a recording studio where they had like a big screen and like a lot of
Yeah, dude, it was
like,
huge.
Oh man.
yeah, I assume there's also like just like stuff laying there, maybe like I don't know buckets or whatnot that they use. Is that
Yeah,
like the
it legit looked like this room that we're in right now, but like a smaller version of it, with like a huge monitor and like giant like
Whoa.
speakers that I knew probably cost like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Whoa.
thousands
Did you
of
get to
dollars.
like actually be in that area?
Yeah,
Like,
I was
with
in there.
all the-
I was in it. I was in
Ah.
it. It was so cool. It was so cool.
Dude,
Yeah,
I've
it's
been in one of
probably-
those like sorry, I've been in one of those like mini like very they're like so small, but it's like one of those makeshift sound booths.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've Pymations had he had like a construction crew like come into his house and build one in his basement.
Oh,
Like out of wood and
Oh
shit.
wow!
And he like the first time that I went over there, he's like, "Yeah, hop in my sound booth in my basement." I was like, "That's a little weird, man."
Yeah, I think it's like
That's so weird.
it's like yeah, it's a sound studio, but they mostly record Foley in there because if you see the monitor, they like so the Foley sounds is basically you have an image on the screen, right, and then you would have to sync up all the like the sound movements with what you see on screen. For example, if like a character walking, you need to walk like simulate walking in place, with the footsteps and everything. And yeah, that's what they do. It's just mostly applied to more to down to earth type of like sound. Instead of like just like putting everything in a DAW, you just like drop it in Premiere, just like, oh, I need to put a footstep in here and there, and I need to like add some clothing to it. They just do it. They just record it as they act what they see, and they just like act it, and yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, it's way faster and easier. But then when it comes to more of a design stuff, we need to like sort of like explosions and everything. Yeah, that's already like behind the computers, and you need to like master it in there. But yeah, this is something that I would love to do, really. Just like try to synchronize the sounds with the movements. It's a very fun stuff that I've seen on the videos. Just like, damn,
Sure, yeah.
that's what I would love to do as well.
Cool,
Oh,
man.
I think we should move into questions.
Oh my, there's a lot of questions.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of questions. I did filter quite a few of them. Pardon me. Yeah, we're not doing any featured animation today. We're in for the sake of time. Apologies, everyone. Forgive us. But to start us off, Azur Artman asks for Egor. For beginners that want to get into custom sound design, what do you think is the best way to learn how to use effects and synths and stuff?
So if you want to learn the synth sound design, there's definitely a program that is also for free. It is called, wait, what is it? What is it called? I forgot. Oh, Vital. It's called Vital. It's a very, very powerful tool. This is something where you can actually start like learning how to manipulate in there. Just like, yeah, it's a like learning curve is difficult, but you can definitely like play around with it. And like this is a free software. You can just like click buttons, just like
How'd you
shape
spell it?
the wavetable. Vital.
Vital. Got it.
Yeah, Vital.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's the program. And if you want to like start with just like a normal sound design, if you really want to start from scratch, then yeah, I would suggest you to invest some money into buying like the raw sound packs, just like with the raw materials, not designed ones, and then like you can combine, like mix a bunch of stuff together and like see what works, what doesn't. But if you don't want to spend some money, then yeah, the only way I guess is to try to find those raw recordings somewhere like on the internet, like Google them up or just maybe on YouTube. There are people upload sound effects as well. But you can just, as I said like earlier, you can just take a bunch of design stuff and like apply it in on Audacity just to mix them up and see what works, what doesn't, like just to you know, like train the feel for it.
You can get like a surprising amount done by just downloading YouTube videos and then just cutting them up and playing around with it in Audacity.
Yeah, that also works.
Yeah.
I do that a
Audacity.
lot. Yeah, Audacity.
Nice and free.
Very good.
All
very
right.
good program.
I got this question a lot, but a lot of people want to know how you met Simple Fox and how did you become frenemies and what's the story behind those videos.
Okay, so I think it was like around the time where Shuriken. Yeah, I met Shuriken. I think 2 or 3 months before I met Fox. I remember Shuriken was working in like Imitator Collab, and I dropped on his stream and just like we learned about each other and just like, oh, apparently we both speak Russian, yeah. So yeah, he was excited to meet me, and then he called me, like he invited me to a Skype call, and then he was regretting it, thinking like, oh my gosh, maybe it's a little kid or anything. But then once he called me, he was like, okay, whatever, I'm just gonna do it. He called me, and then he hears hello, and he was just like, oh my gosh, he's not a kid. So he was excited to talk to me, you know. He's like, oh my gosh, he's like animator from like, you know, from Russia and whatnot, and then just like,
Did he not comment on your deep ass voice?
I mean, she was like, whoa, he's not a kid, you know. Just like, okay, I need to keep this guy, you know, because he was happy that I was not a kid. So and then we started like hanging out more, and like 2-3 months later, we were in a Skype call. He was streaming on Twitch, animating, I think like probably also for Imitator Collab, and there was this guy like Simple Fox in there. It was like, hey guys, can I join you, please? You know, like in the chat. Yeah, it's like, and we were just like, I'm also Russian. I was like, yeah, I guess, yeah, why not? It's like,
I'm also Russian. It's crazy.
Yeah. So we added him in, and he did not speak at all. He was so shy. He was like legit shy. He only used text, like, you know, just like text, and then he was so shy to speak. But then, like, eventually, he got more comfortable with us, and like, and after that, we like became really good friends, and our friendship like got better since, you know, we started like, he started animating as well, and I think I did this funny thing on him, where I killed his character in a Deadly Runners collab, right? So I just did that for fun, and he was like, "Oh man, I gotta revenge, like I gotta avenge myself, you know." So he made the animation where he kills my character. Then I did the same, like again, I made another animation where I kill him, and like and did like a bunch of things like back and forth, and ever since like people just like we were uploading it, and just people, oh damn, these guys are funny, you know, and that's what's been happening. And that's how like our friendship got stronger, basically. Just like
the reoccurring theme within the stick figure community. We just love killing each other as stick figures. You know what I'm saying?
Nice to meet you. Want to die or?
It's kind of a whole culture, really.
Yeah.
Oh, so violent.
I'm gonna butcher this name. I apologize. Kaorui Nico asks, when will you release the Fox sound pack? That dude screams a lot, from my understanding.
You know what? I will release the sound pack on this Christmas.
Ooh,
This Christmas.
just a week away.
Best Christmas.
Just a week away.
Christmas in a week. All right. Here's an important question. Very important, depending on how you answer this. Nexold Content asks for Egor, who's your favorite person on the Alan Becker team?
Oh, be careful.
My favorite person in the Alan Becker team. Damn. I actually don't think I have any.
Are you
But
sure?
not
I
gonna
like that
lie,
take.
Yeah.
Hate them all.
Yeah. You know what? I gotta be careful, otherwise Hatena is just gonna kick me out of the team. You know? Honestly,
No, yeah.
I don't think I have a favorite person, but we gotta agree that probably the entire team admired Turquoise and his
Oh,
skill
yeah.
that he brings in. So
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
For sure. He carries
Yeah.
sometimes, yeah.
yeah, that's a safe
Yes.
answer, I would say.
That's a safe. Fine.
Because
I guess I'll
everyone,
accept
like,
that
admires-
one.
Yeah, thank you.
Uh-huh.
I gotta
Very
live
good.
in
I
a
like
team
that.
for
You're on
a while
thin
longer.
fucking ice. Okay, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Man. Egor, Hyun, you guys want to choose a question?
Let's see. From all the sounds you've... Oh, this is by Op.24.
Oh, be high.
From all the sounds you listen to, what sound is your favorite sound to listen to? Sorry. I read that so weird.
Okay, so out of all sounds, I
Blade
think my
Shannon.
most favorite sounds are blade swooshes and like blade scrapes.
Ah,
I don't know, I really like to listen to
I noticed
very
that.
like ringy metallic like sound, you know. It just like has like interesting like harmonics in it, you know. It just like, man, kind of like pleasant to the ear really. So there's definitely, and I focus a lot on the sword sound design. I love it. So that would be it.
Nice. What about you? What about you guys? Do you guys have a favorite sound effect?
Crunchy impacts. Crunchy impact, dude.
It's been a while since I've done this one. Scream.
Oh my god! How did you do that? That's so weird.
Damn.
You know how many times I like when that meme was popular? You know how many times I joined a voice chat and people asked me to say it? It was the Bart meme. It was literally the Bart meme. It's like, do the thing.
Oh,
Don't we have like a sound of you coughing there on the?
Oh yeah, in the Alan Becker animation team in the Discord server, we have the sound in our soundboard. It was just 3 different audio files of me coughing because of my goddamn allergies.
I like that so much.
Dude, my favorite sound is the old Modern Warfare 2 sound pack of those guys screaming. There's a very specific one where they're just like, "Ah!"
Yeah,
I don't even know. What's
Oh
going
my god.
I know
Those were such a
talking
popular
about.
group of
Yeah.
sounds in like 2016 to
It
2018.
was such a meme for
Everyone was using
used
that.
it. Like even when they're just talking, they'd be like,
Yeah. Oh.
I remember
You know
the
what?
files, the folders for those. They were all just letters.
Yeah,
It'd be like
all-
A, B, C, D all the way down, and it would be
there's
like
just
A.
two
You open it up, and it'd be like
Wait,
just 4 sounds.
I think I
B,
have those. One
4
sec.
sounds. C, 2
Actually-
sounds.
Yeah, I actually gotta mention because I remember this very fondly. At that time, when it's like the early times,
Those are them.
you didn't really use those like screaming sounds a lot. You're actually not only the style that you had like interesting, but you also like the sound design was the sound effects you would put like also were different compared to like others like Jom, Turquoise, like Endo. You even put like different screaming sound effects. They would mostly use like ow, you know, it's like from Modern Warfare 2 and everything. You would definitely use something else, because
Yeah. I mean, like I hated them back then, but then it just became so funny because everyone used it.
Yes.
This is such
I-
a
This is it, dude. Let them rip.
Oh,
Here we go.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
oh,
wait, hang on.
We
I'm
got
trying to
him.
poem- I'm trying to find it right. So I don't-
wow, this was spot on, Stone. This was like very spot on.
Okay, hang on. Transition. So these are what the audio files look like. They're just
Here we go.
numbers.
Yeah.
dude. Dude, that one, dude. There's so I can't tell you
there's
how
so
many
look
stick
at
figure
all
animations use these
Yep.
these grunts. Oh my! It has to be in the hundreds.
You know, I think that's the only correct answer to that question.
Exactly.
Oh my
These are the
god.
best
Still,
ones.
my favorite series of sounds is the Modern Warfare 2 scripts. It's so iconic. Dude.
That's fair. That's
So
valid.
That's great.
Good one.
Classic now.
Okay, we'll end this off with one last question. Stone, you want to choose the last one?
Yes. Let's see. So here, I like this one from, I think it's Ninja P295. When you're doing choreography in your animations, do you already have sounds in mind that goes with each as you animate it?
No, I usually have sounds in mind, like after I animate something.
Okay.
I mostly, yeah. I mean, I just probably like on rare occasions where I think about sound before I do the animation. I just mostly focus on the choreography first, and then like, oh man, I animated like this kind of well, and I already hear it like in my head, you know. So yeah, definitely gonna make this and that. But it's a good practice, to be honest. Just try to think of sounds first, and then
Yes.
like, you know, just not like doing like the sync type of animations, but like try to create like a design sound first, and then just like apply the animation to it. Yeah, it's a good thing that I should try doing more, honestly.
It's I noticed a lot of sprite animators, especially the ones that do a lot of fight stuff. It's common for them to do the entire sounds first before they even animate the choreography, which I found really surprising. But it works. It works. Like if you have a good series of sounds that are very interesting and like has a lot of variation, then the choreography kind of comes naturally after that. So I think either way is pretty good way to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All
That was a
right.
good question.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Let's go.
Let's
I,
go.
I sure
dude.
hope nothing wacky happens.
Oh wow, geez. Well, I might as well do the outro just to make
Yeah.
sure everything's good. Igor, thank you so much for being here with us today. It's a great episode.
Thank you for
Yes,
inviting me. It
sir.
was really, really fun to talk about my stories and everything. You know, hopefully some people might get inspired to do more sounds, because yeah, I need more sound people, guys. Come on.
Please.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah.
Yes, to spawn more of them.
Yes.
So as always, guys, be sure to leave a comment below after this video is done and posted, because we love reading the comments and it helps us shape the episodes of the future. So yeah, please give us something you like to remember from this episode, and join us next week for episode 25 with Made.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That is
Made.
MAYDE, not as in like a, not as in like, you know, like a worker maid.
Yes.
Made.
Yeah, you know,
Made.
The animator made.
the
Maker,
animator.
yeah.
maid.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited for
Yes.
that, for sure.
You guys were supposed
Yeah.
to laugh,
Oh.
but no. Thank you. Oh, Jesus. End the episode.
Wait, there's a joke. Wait.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah, okay. Bye.
Oh.
Bye bye.